Hey guys, welcome back to the Kampai Guy podcast. For this podcast, we're doing something a little different. We're not sitting on the ground, right? Because I'm not really sure if you want to sit on the ground.
Is that what you normally do?
I do. I normally sit on the ground.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't have been able to do.
It's a Japanese,
Thank you.
it's a Japanese thing, but
Oh, I get it.
but normally we sit on the ground, but we're sitting on chairs, which is fine. This is cool too. I like this. I like this style as well. We did this with another guest. Shout out to Kaylee. And another different thing is I'm actually not wearing a black shirt, right? Because normally I wear black shirts. I just think, Asians wear black. That's the thing.
The darkness, is that what it is?
I just like the darkness. But see, in the day I wear black shirts, but then when I'm at home and just chilling, I wear a white shirt. So
Because
it feels cooler. I don't know. So I'm guessing that the AC is gonna go through the white fabric and then it's gonna insulate better.
or when you get out, you want to be that mysterious dark figure.
Yeah, the
Then when you
Batman.
come home, it's like, this is me.
Yeah, I'm bright again. I'm not dark here. So
Yeah. So you're Bushido style outside.
yeah,
Inside, you're just a happy person.
happy go lucky, right? But once I step out that door, the samurai comes out.
Ah.
Or the Ronin. You know what I'm saying? The Ronin. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to watch out for that guy. So if I see you wearing a black shirt, I'm like, oh,
Well,
everybody step back.
Black shirt, black hat. Then you gotta watch out because then it's like, oh, I mean business. You're drinking whatever. But anyway, I'm wearing a blue shirt, which is interesting because I just saw this recently. Yeah, I always wear black shirts, which is funny. But anyway, guys, we have a really special guest. We have a comedian, an actor, a podcaster. Please give a warm welcome to Mr. James Main Man Mane.
Oh, you tricked me there.
I tricked you. Thank you for coming on the show, man.
Thank you for having me.
Main Man Mane.
Yeah.
We should call you that from now on. Main Man Mane.
Well, then there'll be the other people in my family that are going to be like, wait a minute, I'm the main man. Like, oh, this argument again.
Well, for this instance, you are the main man.
Yes.
So, James Main Man Mane. Right?
Cool. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Do you get people that I'm guessing you get people that mispronounce your name.
So, like, the first time I ever did stand-up, I was so nervous. And I've listened to a few of your episodes, and Reese Paul talked about it. Yeah, I had the boo-boos, too, where I knew I was going to do stand-up for the first time, and just my stomach just did not sit well for like a day and a half. And I'm like, I can't go. I'm sick. And eventually I did go. But while I'm there, I'm like, I should go home. I don't want to do this. But then the person who got up to introduce me said James Main. And I was like, oh, man, I got to go correct this guy. So then I went up and then I did my first time stand-up. But I went to college in Buffalo, New York. I lived in Pittsburgh. And they
Steelers.
always...
Let's go.
Is that your team?
That's my team.
Oh, sorry for this year, I guess.
Damn it. Steelers fan.
But you know what? Whether you don't make it to the Super Bowl or don't, any the 32, 33 teams?
Yeah.
Or the 32,
32.
because 2 go, it doesn't matter because I'm a Niners fan. We got all the way up there and we didn't make it, so we're the same boat. You get a better draft pick round choice or something.
It's okay. Rebuilding. We give people chance. That's why I always tell people if we don't make it to the Super Bowl, that means we gave people chance, and we want a good draft.
We've been building up for a long time.
You gave people a lot of chances.
But I've heard so many different variations of my last name in Buffalo. So they say Maine. I'm like, oh, Mane. And they go, oh, hi, James Manny. And I was like, no, Mane. Money? I was like, that's fine. That's fine. Just you call me whatever you want. Just don't call me late for dinner. I think that's the phrase. So, yeah, I've heard so many different versions. It would be worse if they knew my middle name, which is and the way it's spelled, because Samoans you pronounce the letter G like the NG.
Oh, okay.
Like song. Yeah, but it'd be spelled SOG. But so Tongimanu is my middle name. So it's TOGI.
I like that.
Yeah, so it's TOGI. They would say Togi Manu or Togi Man. And then our last name, I don't know how it is with the Japanese culture, but like Samoans,
I'm not that good with Japanese culture.
yeah, well, even Hawaiians too. You to honor your father, you take the father's first name as your last name.
Interesting.
So that's why like a lot of Samoans, you hear like they have the same first and last name, like Amosa, Amosa, and it's like, why is that, But that's what it is. You take your dad's first name. So my grandfather was actually Mane. His last name was, which would be really weird if I had this last name, Ulungaongo. So good luck trying to say that.
On stage?
Yeah, James Ulugono. And it's like, so it's, Ulungaongo is actually supposed to be our last name, but I don't know generations before that. It could be that's somebody's first name that, So, yeah.
See, I would have a really hard time. I would have to really break it down if I was introducing you.
I'm like, ooh, Lou, and then the podcast is over.
Yeah, for an hour. I'm just trying to pronounce this name. I already have a hard time with saying English, so
yeah. English is a difficult language.
But yeah, thank you for coming on the show, and you've been trailblazing. You've been really getting out there, dude. Sold out Blue Note.
Oh yeah, thanks.
You know what I mean?
That was a big one for me because that show, like they say, oh, you've headlined before. Why is this one special? So you want to see, you gauge, if you can sell tickets, because at the end of the day, that's what it's about.
Yeah.
It's will people come to see you? Will people pay to see you? How big of a draw are you? Because I've been doing this maybe like 13 years, and it's all mostly small shows. Like I've opened for, I've been blessed to be able to open for big acts, and let's see if I can do it myself. I opened recently for Tumua, a couple of shows, even did in Arizona, and got to see him go from, it's funny, he used to be not regular, but he was my opener, but he was just so popular. So then that's the thing that he's taught me was, maybe he wasn't trying to teach you, but as I watch and observe, is that you can be funny, but can you draw tickets? And that's something that Tumua can do very well. And it's like, I need to find out how I can sell tickets, which I'm learning social media helps a lot. So when I looked at my social media and his social media, he's like 100K followers, and I'm like, ooh, 5K followers. I don't even have a K yet. It's like 5,000. They can put the whole thing. Well, I've been growing. I've been growing. So I'm at 8,000 now. So I'm like, we moving up.
Yeah.
So,
Closer to the K.
Yeah, once I get the K, I'll be like, okay, I am somebody.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, I have a K. And then hopefully one day get the blue
the verified.
Which I try and never get it.
That's interesting because I feel like you've been a part of like different media sources too, like Living 808, and you've been on different shows that I feel like that should be enough to get you that
I would think so because even does KITV4 and I've been seeing that. I think written news articles, and of course nobody really knows, but they say this like that if you get like the Star Advertiser or Midweek does an article on you, those actually help compared to TV news or website news. And I'm like, I have so many because that's the day we live in now. Star Advertiser, is hardly anybody has one of those.
And it's shrunk down a lot.
Because I get it delivered to the house still because I like to do the crossword puzzle. And and it's not the New York Times one though, but the whole the Star Advertiser one. And there is no Saturday paper. I think it's like Sunday through Friday. And it's so thin that it's like, why, just send me a crossword puzzle every day. That'd be better.
It'll look like one of those kids printouts. Like you take home.
I would appreciate it because that's actually how I like people ask me like, well, how do I come up with jokes and stuff? Like to get myself in that the mindset that I need
Mhm.
to write jokes,
Mhm.
I do crossword puzzles.
Oh, okay, cool. Wow,
It
interesting.
I don't know if it's a problem solving thing but then when I get to, or even the writing part, when I'm writing letters and words, then it gets me into writing mode, and then I can start writing.
Hmm.
So,
So do you have a crossword puzzle, and then like maybe you have like your material that you're working on like right next to each other?
no, but well, it's all in my room, so I have like I'm actually behind on the crossword puzzle. I have like 10. I think it's local and business section in the Star of Evidence. I have like 10 of them stacked up. Then I have like all these notebooks over the years.
Oh,
So like
interesting.
13 years, I have like maybe 20 notebooks just
Wow.
stacked there. They're not all filled because sometimes you just grab the and you just start writing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then after you do that, it's just writing the idea. So it's like not even a rough draft. It's just blurting out something.
Mm-hmm.
And then it goes to Google Drive later, whether it's on my phone or my laptop.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's more like bullet points. Then I get
Oh,
my,
okay.
yeah. So it's a weird process for me, but
Oh, that's good though.
yeah, it involves cereal, Spotify playlists, and
When I thought you said cereal, I was thinking Lucky Charms. You're like putting out your material with, there's a rainbow, right?
that would be funny though.
There's a
But
cool relief, you know what I
but no,
mean? Like,
it's
oh, that Lucky.
it's
Right?
more of the eating part. So
Oh,
yeah. So cereal is a big part of my process. Like
Mm.
after a show, like if I don't go to Jack in the Box drive-thru, I'll go home and have Captain Crunch or
Captain
something.
Crunch,
Yeah.
Is that your favorite?
Well, I think it depends on the
The day?
yeah.
The night?
No, mostly which one is on sale.
Oh, okay.
But Crunch Berries is one of my favorites though. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Raisin Bran, I like the taste, but it has a bad outcome because of
Oh,
all the brand. So it's like,
got it.
yeah. Then it's like, oh, I'm staying home for the next 2 days because the brand is just going through it, brother.
Got it.
So
It's like Taco Bell.
yeah,
Sometimes it's good going in, bad coming out.
yeah.
Right?
But one burns, the other one doesn't. So
You guys can guess which one burns.
yeah. So it's a weird thing. But,
Interesting.
yeah.
So you have your own home office. You do everything through there, and
Yeah, well, I
you
wouldn't call it an
podcasting.
office because
Okay.
it's a lot of laying down. So, there's a TV, there's an Xbox, and
Got it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's where, it's funny though because my writing process, I do a lot of people watching.
Oh, okay.
So when I used to be a city bus driver for 17 years,
Mm.
and the material would come to me.
While you're driving?
Yeah, because
Interesting.
you're driving around and you're in your subconscious, like something you do
Mm.
often. You're in subconscious mind. So driving, showering,
Okay.
material comes, and it's all places that you don't have a notebook.
Mm.
Or you're not supposed to be on your phone or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I always had when I was driving the city bus, the material comes because the people that come on the bus,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm looking at them and I'm judging them, and like when I first started, before I did stand up, I used to write. This is how far back it goes on MySpace.
Mm-hmm.
So you could do blogs.
Yeah.
So I would do blogs, and then I got into the show that just started, Criminal Minds,
Okay.
and I really got interested in it about the breaking down
Great
the
show.
mind of a criminal and profiling them.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was driving the city bus and people would come on, I started profiling
Profiling
them.
people.
Yeah, like, oh, this person. So like,
This is like
old-
Karen before Karen came out.
Yes. Well, for me, it was like when I see an old Chinese person, I go Chinatown, old Chinese man and wife.
All right.
I know that the wife or the woman is coming on second,
Okay.
and she's carrying all the luggage, and he's just coming in like nothing. Like
Nothing.
he owns the world.
Yeah.
The Filipino old man comes, lets his wife on first.
That's the yin yang.
Yeah. Oh, I guess so.
Yeah.
So the Filipino
yin-yang.
comes on, and then I guarantee you, he has a rubber band around his wallet.
Okay.
You get the billfold, because they
Yeah.
always open. So they always. And Samoan comes up. I know he's gonna ask for a free ride, and it's like Sully. He gives the eyebrows like Sully. What? It's like free 99. It's like just get on the bus. But yeah, so I started.
Sit
profiling
next to
people.
that Japanese couple over there.
Yeah. So yeah, I started. That's what I started writing about it, and people were reading it. They're like, "Oh, this is so funny. You should make a book."
Mm.
And I was like, I don't like to write that much, like, so then somebody suggested stand up, and I was like, all right, let's go give it a shot. And from there, it kind of took off where I start people watching, and then I start saying, why? I ask questions. Why do they do that? Why are they like that? And then I talk about it on stage. So
Interesting.
yeah,
Like, why is that old woman carrying all the luggage and the guy just chilling? The this yin yang right there.
because he is the leader of the family, and he's oppressing her. No, I'm just kidding.
Getting
yeah.
canceled for Chinese
Yeah.
talk. That's interesting because like I like for me I get my ideas through the showering or if I'm just chilling
And it's like, oh, but then you look around, it's like, oh, I can't write this down. I got to remember. So like I'm showering, and I'm like, okay, remember. And it's like the weirdest thing. It's like, like, so one of the thoughts I had recently was because of the storms. So I was like, oh, it'd be the worst place to have the electricity go out, showering at night, and then you go to you close your eyes to rinse your hair, and you open your eyes, everything is jet black, and you're like, oh my goodness, did I die? It's like, what is happening? I close my eyes, and then I wake up, and the world is dark. What's going on? Like so, like those thoughts.
Did my hair grow out too long?
Yeah.
I'm blind now.
Well, one of my biggest fears is when I shower and I wash my hair, or when I had more hair, was that a roach would crawl over my foot.
Really?
Like, I'm not afraid of roaches. They just disgusting. So it's like, ew, the heebie-jeebies, So like I'm thinking like, oh, whatever. I'm washing my hair, so I was like, I always gotta rinse fast, so I can look and make sure a roach doesn't walk across my foot. It's stupid, but it's real for me. So.
Funny story about that. My well, I can talk about this because my dad passed away already. So my
Sorry.
actually today's his birthday.
Oh really?
Happy birthday to my dad.
Hey, happy birthday, pops.
So my parents were showering one time, right? And there was a roach that flew. It kind of did the same. It was a flying one, right? And then it crawled over like I think my mom's foot. They were explaining it to me, and my dad like he actually kneed her in the head, like full on, just like UFC need.
He said, it's you or me. Boom, it's you. I'm out of here.
And she almost looked like if she closed her eyes, she looked like a cyclops a little bit because she got
I'm sorry.
this weld right there.
I'm sorry to joke about this.
But I mean that's a real thing,
Wow. It is a big, because even when you go to the bathroom in the middle of the night and you sit down and you see the roach come from under the door and you're like, oh man, no. So you start you close it by your ankles. You're like, get away. You start throwing things at him. And it's like, get out of here. Don't come to me.
Well, that was like, so there was that one video you posted about like reaction. The guy was like taking off the wasp nest.
Oh yeah.
It was bare hands, and I was like, man, did he live after that? I don't know.
Right? See, that's the funny thing is like that video went crazy viral.
Yeah.
But it's not my video. Like people say, oh, how did you, that's so awesome that you did. I was like, well, I stitched the last 5, like,
Yeah.
it might not even be 5 seconds of me. It's mostly that person's video. And I tagged them on it and give credit because, and they like it. So that's cool. But
So they're still alive, thank God.
yeah, still alive. But yeah, it was like my 2 biggest videos that went, so like on Facebook, the Facebook Reels is like 110 million views, and I'm like, wow, this is insane. And that's how I got
insane.
tons of followers and like TikTok and everywhere except Instagram. And like, why Instagram? Why do you hate me when I love you so much? I feed you videos over and over.
We're the Chinese lady picking up the luggage.
Instagram
and Instagram is the Chinese man.
Yeah.
With the rubber
please,
band,
Sifu, please.
the rubber band wallet. You know what I'm saying? Just chilling over there, collecting.
Man, hopefully one day I get that K.
Yep.
That's going to be the theme of this
think so.
podcast.
You'll get it, man.
Getting that K.
Getting the K. Then, so when you get that K, what kind of cereal are you gonna get?
Oh, that K would have to be, I guess.
Kellogg's.
Well, Special K. Good stuff.
Yeah.
I was
Sponsored by
thinking,
James Money.
I was thinking of real cereals that I like, and then I was like, ooh, yeah, you're right. Special K. James Money's 10K brought to you by Special K. I should do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never, because everybody does cakes, right?
That's true.
When they get
They
the
do, they do cakes.
milestone, they do a cake. I'm gonna do cereal.
Yeah.
Cause I was thinking like, ooh, Cookie Crisp. That's what my mind went. Ooh, the stuff I don't normally get. Cookie
Actually, I
Crisp.
do like Cookie Crisp.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Cookie Crisp, one of my favorites, but I don't get it a lot because it's a small box and it's expensive. So I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, whatever Sam's or Costco has, I'll go with. So
Special K.
lately it's been honey nut Cheerios because getting older. So it's like, oh, we gotta be healthy.
Oh god.
You gotta think healthy. Yeah. Yeah. Eating more plant-based foods, and I did lose weight, but it's like, yeah, but my life sucks now. I used to eat really good, but now I'm eating healthy and not happy.
Actually, yeah, no, you're right. You did lose weight because I seen some of your videos from like 11 years
Yeah,
ago.
huge, right?
And no, but you definitely
Yeah.
lost weight. But then the difference is you grow a beard.
Well, yeah, that was part of it. So
Oh.
the beard was to hide the second chin, and the third
And the
chin,
thin chin.
and the fourth chin. And so it makes me look, more like like somebody's
It's like
dad.
it's like a Dragon Ball Z evolution right there. you know?
Oh,
First form, then second form.
And I get up on stage, come here. Yeah, that was the attempt. But yeah, I did lose a lot of weight, and a lot of it has to do with changing the diet. Like I still eat, I still go to McDonald's, I still eat garbage, but I also
Incorporated different things.
yeah, I try to when I can remember. But it's because a lot of comedians from the mainland have these weird diets. Yeah, like vegetarians and vegans and like pescatarian and paleo. Yeah, and keto. I'm like, man, just eat whatever you want to eat, and why you gotta name it? Just eat. You don't want to eat meat? Don't eat meat. But like one of my best friends, Graham Elwood, vegetarian, and every time we go like someplace and we go to Zippy's a lot, and then he'll order like a salad or vegetarian chili or and it's funny because we're there and he's bitching about like the show we just came from, or doing like some of the open mics or showcases here in Honolulu, and he's just like, man, I can't believe he's bitching, and I'm like, dude, relax. Local style. I was like, relax. So I always tell him, dude, see, if you just have a steak, maybe you'd calm down. It was like, because of the way you eat.
It's like the Snickers, the Snickers commercial.
Just have meat, man. Just eat meat and chill out like me. It's like, that's why I'm cool because I eat meat. But it's funny because hanging out with him a lot, I started to change. Like, it's maybe today I'll eat no carbs or I won't eat spam or sausage or So I mean, I still do. It's just not every day like I used to.
Like moderation, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the key. Otherwise, you go crazy.
That's the thing about diets, right? The first part of that word is die, right?
Yeah.
So you don't want to die when you don't want to feel like you're dying when you're eating. So
well, I think also there's a point in your life. So like if you're in your 30s, think about being healthy because you want to get to 50 or 60. I'm 47. So I'm like, you know what? I don't have much longer anyways. I might as well eat whatever I want. It's like, oh, your health is so bad. You're 55. It's like, cool. I'm ready to leave anyways. Not saying I want to, but I'm just, what I'm saying? It's like, I was ready to leave anyways. Thank you. Thank you, world, for
preparing yourself.
Thank you, world, for all these good foods that I enjoy and sugar. I wish maybe I did more drugs, but no, maybe not. When I get 60, then I'll start using drugs. Because that's the age you should just be like, just go for it. Be that old man cruising, just high.
That one old man in the gang that that's chilling. Like, oh, I'm just here for the drugs.
Yeah. I was like, no, I just came to get high. I don't know what's happening. I didn't realize we were robbing a house.
You guys had shrooms. That's why I joined this heist.
That's what I was thinking about. I was like, maybe when I get old, because I don't like, I even hardly drink as much anymore either. So I think that has a lot to do with the weight loss too. Is I don't drink beer because the trigger for gout. So the gout is life changing, my friend. You can see a lot of if you see an older thin. I'm not thin yet, but older thin Samoan. That dude had gout, and he changed his life. So that's how you can tell.
Then he went on a diet.
Yeah. He was like, I don't mind dying. I just can't live with gout. So I'm going on a diet. Yeah. So that changed a lot. When I started getting that gout, I was like, oh my goodness, it's like I got a plate in my arm from football injury.
Oh,
and I had 3 surgeries.
dang.
It was painful, but gout is worse. So that tells you how bad gout is. Like I didn't change my life for this. But gout, I changed my life for. Yeah.
So for for your weight loss, has it really like helped you on stage to like maybe get more stamina to like do a longer set without feeling like too tired or?
Yeah. So when I used to do, I've done 45-minute to hour-long sets or headlining sets, and I've been like drenched. My clothes is drenched. Socks is wet from this, because it's like a workout. Your adrenaline is pumping,
Right.
so you sweat a lot. Now I don't sweat as much, and for me, the biggest thing that I felt was my heart doesn't race. Whereas before, I don't know if it was, I thought it was from nerves, but I would get up and I'd be excited, and then I can't get all the words out without taking a breath.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's like I'm talking, but it's to me it's like a song. So when you start your setup and you get to the punch, you gotta there's a rhythm to it that you gotta hit it at the right time. So timing, in comedy. And as I'm going, I'm like, oh, I gotta take a breath, and then I hit the punch, and it's like, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but there's a way when I write it or when I practice it is the way I like to do it. But then if that heart racing, adrenaline makes me have to pause, then I'm like, that messes up. So the audience doesn't see it. They don't realize it because this is the first time it's being presented to them. But for the performer who's done it maybe a year or two, some of these jokes might be 3 years. We know that, I messed up. So then you get inside your head and you start.
Oh, you start processing that.
Yeah, and it's like, oh no. And then all of a sudden that snowball effect.
Oh.
The next joke and then the next joke. And it's like, oh, I'm messing up. And then in your head, I still look, the audience just still sees a comic that's, could be killing. But in your head, so you come off stage. I've been blessed to be able to open for a lot of, big time comics, and I see them come off, and I enjoyed their show, and I see them come off angry. It's like, damn it, I missed that word, and then I do it too. I come off stage, I'm like, oh, I set it up wrong. Like I have a joke about seatbelt on the plane, so I have to do me catching a plane joke or bit. There's a chunk, which is like a story. There's like a lot of bits in one story. So I do the plane chunk, and then I do where I travel to Portland, Oregon with my daughter.
Okay.
So it seems like a really long story that's very funny all the way through because there's so many punchlines. But I think one time I went straight to Portland, and then I just started doing the jokes for Portland, and then I realized one of the callbacks in Portland is really funny, which is the seatbelt extension. And then I realized as I'm telling it, I didn't do the airplane
the
part.
setup, the airplane.
So in my head, I'm like, oh, I messed this up. The crowd doesn't know, but I know. And then so the rest of my set, I felt like, oh, this is garbage. This is garbage because this punchline could have hit so hard. It's a really good callbacks are really good. Audiences really love callbacks when you tie in something from before into to the end, and that's where, as a writer, when you try to do these long sets, you try to set those up so that people are like, oh, he's a genius. He's a poet. He brought that joke from the beginning all the way to the end. So, and it's something it's hard to do when you're only doing 5 minutes. Callbacks can happen, but it's not. The longer the time in between callbacks, and the bigger the laughter. So
Interesting.
yeah.
Yeah. So you really gotta have that setup in place and really make sure like here's that setup. Okay, let's do that filler.
Yeah.
Really build up the audience, right? It's kind of part of that rhythm, building up that rhythm, and then let's do that callback to really
Yeah.
drive it home
Yeah.
after that.
So like with that, because that whole bit can go 20 minutes from me getting on the plane all the way to me whitewater rafting in Portland can be like 20, 25 minutes. But then if I start in the middle, then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I missed this whole bit. And I was like, how do I jump back? Which happened last night, where I talked about Krispy Kreme donuts. And, you know, when you go to Maui, everybody asks, hey, you can bring Krispy Kreme donuts. And it's not a good look for somebody 6'7", 400 pounds carrying Krispy Kreme donuts on the plane, you know. And I forgot to do that, but it's a callback with it. And I was like, so last night I didn't bomb because the crowd doesn't know it.
Yeah.
I just had to find my way to go
navigate
back here and then set it up and do that joke again and then go back to the where I left off and then add that callback. So
that's a lot of processing.
yeah, that's why
In the moment, yeah.
I listened to the Reese Paul episode.
Shout out to Reese.
Yeah, oh no, I love Reese. And where he was talking about like silence is when the crowd gives you silence is bad, but it's actually it feels bad when the response is nothing. Like you guys are saying like, oh, you tell somebody I love you, but then they don't say it back. Yeah, that's harsh. But I think that the training, and it's something I got from Andy Bumatai was, even though we're known for talking, we're actually a lot of stand-up comedians are thinkers. So when we're talking and we pause, we're thinking, and it's okay to do that. And when you get to a point where you can stop talking and actually process thought, like, okay, what am I going to do next? You know, you should be fine with that. Now, as a beginning comic, like even like radio DJs that do comedy, stand-up comedy, they have a hard time because radio DJs are taught, you know, hey, no dead air, talk. But part of what we do, you know, is we almost hypnotize the crowd. So it's like neuro-linguistic something, NLP or something like that.
Okay.
Where so like if I do a joke, and then you don't really laugh. So it's like so I start to do something where like, and this is something that's why I love Andy Bumatai. He's taught me a lot. So like if I do the joke and then you laugh and I put my hand up here and I put it back down. I do another punchline. I bring my hand up here and you laugh. So. And then next thing you know, later on in the show, another punchline, and it does not that strong. I put my hand here.
Put your hand there.
It's a trigger for you guys to laugh, and it's almost. And then when I look at it, it's
psychology behind it.
Yeah, there's tons of it, and a lot of people don't understand. And like, what is Fluffy?
Yes.
When he does that voice, you know, that woman's laugh voice, or he talks, oh, he's, you know, that voice. That's one of those. Every time he does that voice, people laugh. They're not even thinking about what he said. Is that funny? Was that a funny written out joke? Jim Gaffigan. Yeah, Jim Gaffigan does that. Oh, he's gonna do another Hot Pockets joke. And I think that's him because him and his wife write his stuff.
Oh, okay.
So I think the wife's voice who says that. So he does that voice. Brian Regan, he does that stupid voice, like, oh, the big yellow one's the sun. Yeah, so when you hear those voices, those are triggers. And you laugh, even though it might, like, if you really break it down, you watch it, is that really funny? It could be, but also that's the trigger. So a lot of comics you see when they do something repetitively,
it drives into the people's mind.
Yeah.
That kind of goes back to like Kevin Hart when he did his Laugh at My Pain, his set for that one. He always went back to like all right.
Oh, yep.
Right?
And that's the catchphrase.
That's the catchphrase. And then it really stick with people's brains, but then if you break it down, it's like, huh, is that really like funny? Like you just say it like that, but then if as much people like they view that and they understand the punchline and they understand the trigger to it, then it's like, oh, it's really funny in their head because.
Yeah, but even get her done.
Yeah, Yeah.
or you're a redneck when.
Yes.
So they know that's what I'm saying. Like that's why I even from when Reese was in just out of high school,
Mm-hmm.
and I was telling him, you gotta keep coming. Because that's what you need is the experience.
Mm-hmm.
The difference between somebody who tries stand-up comedy and a stand-up comedian,
Mm-hmm.
the person who tries quits after they bomb the first or second time.
Mm.
The stand-up comedian keeps coming back because they're like, I need to figure this out.
Mm.
I need to try again.
Mm-hmm.
And Reese does bomb. I bomb too. I'm not saying Reese is bad, but he's a very intelligent person. I agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
He just has to get more experience in front of like real house comedy crowds.
Mm.
He does a lot of open mics, which I give him credit, but he might be in a position where I was for the past. My daughter is 19 now. She's in college. She's away in college.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why now I'm out more, where I'm a single dad. I have. I'm not saying her mom wasn't part of her life. It's just she lived with me and I was raising my daughter with the help from my family. So I couldn't really travel to do comedy or think of it as a full career until my daughter can now take care of herself. So she's off in college and she's, I'm proud that she's an independent woman that can take care of herself. So now it's like, all right,
You can focus on
my stand-up comedy career.
Right.
So that's why when the Blue Note opportunity came, we were trying to get a weekend spot, but I didn't have a K on my social media. So yeah. And then it was
special K.
yeah, no special K for me. So I ended up with a Wednesday. I said, all right, I can either just, cry about it or let me try to sell out this Wednesday and prove to them I deserve a weekend. Because I hear another comedians podcast that's what they do. You take whatever opportunity you have and you try to make the best of it. So I said, all right, let's see. And thank you to everybody that came out and to the show and made it possible. So now I can put that on my website, sold out Blue Note, which not,
and it leads into other opportunities.
yeah, because I've got phone calls or text messages. Hey, you did this. Hey, you did that. And then even Andy Bumatai contacted me for the podcast. So it's like a lot of things start happening now from that sold out show. So, and then, but the problem now is, where am I as far as the scene that I've been in for the past 10 years? Am I open mic guy still, or am I headliner guy? So I'm kind of like in a limbo where it's like, I gotta, if I want to be that guy, I gotta be that guy. So I can't do too much of because like Tumua, you don't see him at the showcases like Comedy U. Nothing against Comedy U or Stand Up Honolulu that do regular shows in Honolulu. It's Tumua ticket value is so high now. If he was to do a $10 show, why am I going to pay to watch him at the Blaisdell when I can see him for $10 at this bar? So that's where the level that I'm trying to get to, but I'm kind of in between. So I'm still like with Reese Paul and all the other comics, but I gotta live like I'm making my way up there. So it's
a different tier.
Yeah. So podcasting is a way to help build following. So I appreciate you having me on here.
Thank you for coming on. Yeah.
So if you guys follow me, comedian James Mane, help me get that special K.
James Main Man Mane.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that also goes with marketing. Like I know Tumua was really big on pushing skits. He's doing commercials and stuff like that, fixing his teeth. Really getting to that upper tier to really be like.
Well, he hit at the right time.
Yeah.
When the pandemic, everybody stayed home, and it was social media was the way to get outside of your house without getting outside your house. And he blew up at the right time. So I'm looking at it, like, man, I wish I did some sketches. I started to after, but I missed the bus.
Oh.
I don't know if this is true, but maybe the people will comment on this podcast and let me know or something. Where I do, because I'm Samoan. My house is Samoan. I do sketches about Samoanism or whatever. Samoans in the house and stuff. And I was looking, I was like, maybe I should, because I'm local too. I was actually raised here since I was 8 months old. I lost I still have Pidgin, but it doesn't come out like, unless we're talking to somebody who's all moked out.
Yeah.
And it comes out.
It's like a light switch.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
so
like,
I went to school. Like I said, I lived in Buffalo and Pittsburgh, so I picked up this voice.
Mhm.
So it's like I'm thinking maybe I should do local sketches because like you look at Clowning 808, Keely So Silly, and Brother Jeffrey, all these guys.
Easton. Yep.
Yeah, all these guys doing local stuff. I'm like, maybe I should do local stuff
Mm.
because I am local.
Mm-hmm.
Tumor is Samoan, but he's also local.
Oh, also local.
So I was like, maybe I should do local, but I don't know. You gotta stay true to yourself when you.
Yeah.
So I was like, we'll see. We'll see. I might try it just for science, for experiments. See if I do these types of sketches, will I get the special K?
Well, that's like Joe Coy, for instance, right? Joe Coy built his career off of solely, open mic, or not open mic, but like stand up, and then like for Tumoa, Tumoa has been doing it at least like 5 years, you know what I mean? But it was before like he really blew up at a certain point, but then now people like really like, oh wow, he's been doing it for like, and then there's even like Brada Cruz, right? Brada Cruz, he's really hitting his stride now, but then people forget like he was doing rapping before. That's how I knew him.
Yeah, I didn't know about the rapping till recently.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Oh really?
Wait a minute. Yeah,
He's really good.
Yeah.
But I knew him from like 2018, like rapping and stuff. So, but they're hitting their stride now just because they hit a certain point and they rode the wave with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because even with like the Polyverse and those guys and starting to group up and everybody's trying to Voltron and try to. I mean, that's what it seems like. It's like we're trying to Voltron our way up, or Wu-Tang, I should say, maybe. Try to Wu-Tang their way up. You got to put yourself with but that's the funny thing because like Tumoa is. Like he's off on his own thing. The difference between Tumoa and like the Easton and Brother Jeffrey and Keely and all those guys is that Tumoa can do a live performance also. I'm not saying those guys can't, but that's not their thing.
Yeah, that's not their niche.
Yeah, I think they were talking about doing a comedy show.
Yeah, comedy show.
So we'll see. I mean, Keely actually did an open mic at Anna O'Brien's many years ago, and killed his first time. I know he prepared for his second time. So Easton brought him up, just hey, go, and then so he went up and he killed. And then he prepared for his second time and didn't go so well. And that's why I was trying to get him to come out and do stand up, but I think he was like, oh no, because he doesn't want to bomb again. So like I was saying, is if you can handle the bomb and continue, then you're a stand-up comedian. It's not saying Keely's not funny. He's a very funny dude. It's just stand-up is a different.
It's brutal.
Yeah. It can like, tear your heart out. It's like, wow, they didn't like me. Why didn't they like me? But it's not that they don't like you. It's that your presentation wasn't enough to get a laughter. So then the stand-up comedian goes, what do I have to do to get the laugh? Because once you kill, man, that's a big high. And I can see why stand-up comedians end up using drugs, because they want to keep that high going. They want to party. They want to keep, and that's why for me, I program myself after, go have cereal, play Xbox, go sleep. And then tomorrow start all over again, because I seen like too many guys partying and get into trouble. It's like I've been partying back in the 90s and in the 2000s. I'm good. I just want to work at this craft that we do. So yeah,
that's good. Yeah, I think like a lot of like comedians, they're processing things, like especially for the ones that can handle that brutal environment. And, like if they go to the Comedy Store, let's say they bomb at the Comedy Store, which would really suck because that's a big stage. But like, it's either they go back to the workshop, they try to process it through, really understand, why did I bomb? You know what I mean? And then go through that step process to figure that out, how to get back to that point of, okay, just do minor tweaks. I'll go back on stage. I'll kill it with a different audience. So
yeah, for me, I kind of bombed at the Comedy Store. It was you only get 3 minutes, so I've been doing. Yeah, I've been. You know why you do 20 minutes? 10 minutes, which is a lot. In the mainland, big cities, they only give you 3 minutes, maybe 5. So I wasn't used to doing 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I got up and I did. That's when I filmed that show, the FNX show, where I did 30 minutes, and that's where I'm comfortable. 30 minutes, 45 minutes.
The storytelling,
Yeah. Then I go into 3 minutes. I'm like, wow. And then I didn't even think about it. I just started to address certain things in the room, and then I was about to do my first joke, and the light came on. I was like, whoa, that was fast. And then all right, and then that's my time. Thank you. And I got off like feeling empty. I was like. Then what I learned from that was I gotta have, so like if you're going to battle, you gotta have different weapons for different battles. So I was like, I have the stories, I have the long set, I gotta work on the short ones. So then I was like, okay. Then it started because if you watch late night television when they have like Jimmy Fallon or Jimmy Kimmel have on a stand-up comedian, it's only 5 minutes. So I was like, I got to work on those sets. So then now I have those sets ready whenever I need it.
Right. That it's like a pitch jokes.
Yeah.
For those smaller sets. That's interesting. 3 minutes. That's really that's not a lot of time.
Yeah. For like beginning stand-up comedians, I was like, oh, that's forever. It's like it's not really. You can go up, I can go up and talk about my name for 3 minutes and then we're done.
Man Money.
Yeah, the main man Money's in the house, ladies and gentlemen. I've actually done that. They do King's Pizza on Kapahulu.
Okay, yeah.
I went there and it's strictly open mic, all brand new people. And so like guys that the newer guys, they think every show is like their Netflix special. So
interesting.
Performing at King's Pizza, I need to kill. I need to be amazing. They go to another open mic, I need to be amazing. It's like, no. That's what I take. It's like I've been lucky. I've opened for a lot of these big name comics and done like big shows. When I come to these open mics, I'm like, this open mic will not create or destroy your career. Just go experience it, learn from it, and move forward. So when I went, it was me and Graham Elwood, and Tumua were there, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna try to bomb on purpose. And it was like, go for it. And it's something weird that I do where when I went there, I'm like, why not? Let's just try. And so I went up on stage and I was like trying to do like a catchphrase and I go, am I right? And then I said that for like the whole 10 minutes. Like we're in the pizza parlor. Am I right? Men, women. Am I right? So at first it was like,
what the hell's going on?
5 minutes, and I'm doing this to everything. Cats, dogs. Am I right? Like just weird. And then by the 5th minute, they were saying when I say like cheese, pizza sauce. Am I? And they would say, am I right? And everything else I would say, they would finish the catchphrase, and they were laughing like they were dying by the 8th minute to the 10th minute. And as I walked off, the crowd was like, "Oh, you're a genius! You're a genius!" I was like, "No, I'm not. That's just stupid."
Am I right?
I was being ironic. I just wanted to. I don't have material for this place. I just wanted to, see if I can bomb. And then one of my friends go, "Oh, dude, you should do that on stage." Like, I'm not doing this on like a real comedy show. Like, no, it's gonna be your thing. You're gonna be the Samoan. He goes, "Am I right?" It's like, come on, man, let's be serious. I'm not gonna like open up for a big time comic at Blue Note and be like, "Am I right?" and get kicked out of the place. But that's what it should be. There's open mics. It should be fun, and you can learn from it. I built up confidence in knowing that I can go in with no material and turn a crowd. And then I did it with recently. I opened for Ed Hill at Stand Up Honolulu, and he comes in and he goes, I say, "Hey, welcome to Hawaii." Go, "Oh yeah." So, "What'd you guys do today?" He's like, and we're just talking before the show starts. I said, "Oh, we went to PCC," and he's like, "I hate that place." He says that. I was like, "Really?" I said, "It's a nice place. You learn the culture." And he starts talking about it. I was like, "Man, I'm starting to hate that place now." I was like, "Yeah, basically, it's just Polynesian zoos." I was like, it's owned by the.
Oh, that's an interesting perspective.
Yeah. So then we were talking
Huh.
about, it, and then he goes,
I understand what he's saying.
I get ready to go up, and he was like, "You should talk about Polynesian Culture Center." I was like, "Challenge accepted." So I went up, and I just crapped on the Polynesian Culture Center I tried to reach 15 minutes, but I only got to 12 minutes. I was like, but now it's in my material where I talk about it's the Polynesian Zoo. They put Polynesians in certain sections, and they have tourists walk through like, oh, is that what they do? It's like, oh, well, they make the fire and they dance with it, and then they climb the coconut tree. Oh, that's what Polynesians are. That's not what Polynesians are. You go look around in Hawaii, Polynesian standing at the bus stop waiting for the bus to go to work. That's Polynesians. You know, it was like, oh, come on, man. So that's why they perpetuate that. I think it's like they're saying, this is when we liked you guys. We don't like you Polynesians now. We like you guys back when you guys half naked and dancing to drums. So that's the sarcastic part about being a comic. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so that's what happens. So you people watch and you learn, you get experience, and then you just put a little spin on it, and then it's like, well, it turns into material.
Yeah, you just stretch that truth a little bit.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like, it's a curse for like my daughter who was raised by me since she was little, and she's very sarcastic. So like to the point where I have to keep telling her, you need to chill with that because your friends don't get that, and that's why you don't have many friends.
Yeah, they don't know if she's telling the truth or she's not telling.
Well, she judges stuff when she's watching like a cartoon or with her friends, and like, oh, why is a horse talking? Horses can't talk. You know, it's like this is so fake. Like, and if a horse is talking, why are they asking? They should be asking for more food. And it's like, hey, you need to chill out with that.
Yeah.
That's when you and me are hanging out watching Netflix. Not with you and your friends here. So,
Don't bring down Pegasus like that. Pegasus doesn't need that right now.
Those are ponies that can fly. Just chill, right?
Horses not supposed to have wings. What are they doing with wings?
So that's what she does. And then I'm like, it's very funny, but when you're hanging out with teenagers, it can be funny, but then it could also be a curse. So like I can turn minds on and off, but she's just almost on all the time. I think it's hilarious. But it's like, all right, I need to think about your life, and you won't have any friends if you keep doing that. So, yeah.
Her and I would get along real well, actually.
You guys just start judging people all over the place.
Yeah, just put us at one. I had an idea for a show before I even started this podcast, which when I was working at Winter Community College, I had this segment I wanted to do like outside my window, and I would just have me and another guest, like it could be like another teacher or something, and then we would just observe people outside my window, outside my office window. And just talk about it, maybe give them voices and stuff like that. So
at that college, boy, you get a lot of interesting people.
Yeah, we tried it out and it was hilarious. We did it for 15 minutes. Just in that 15-minute time, we saw so much drama happen, fights.
Oh wow!
We saw like
exactly that place.
You know, and we saw teachers that I don't know what they were doing.
Well, there's so many people that do that, like the voiceover part. But with videos that they find online, because like I think Easton was doing that with certain movie scenes or whatever. He would make
Star
it
Wars.
pigeon, or even Planet of the Apes. I think was one of his popular ones. So
the Pokemon one, right?
Yep. So there is a place for that. I think I forget which late night show. I don't know if it was I think it was Leno where they would have a camera on the street and they would voice over, and it's hilarious.
See, she should start that.
Maybe, but local.
But local.
Yeah.
Or she could do that at the college she's at right now.
But you know what's weird is that so I did my Blue Note show was family friendly. Because in the business it's cleaner comics make more money. Because they get more work.
It's more marketable.
Yeah.
Too.
Unless you're Kevin Hart famous, then it doesn't matter. But for like the level, like for Tumua level, like he's not. I'm not saying he's at a low level, but he's not Kevin Hart or Joe Coy. So it's smart for him to do clean family comedy because you get a couple that buys the tickets to come watch Kevin Hart, but to go to Tumua's show, they come with their kids, so they buy 4 tickets instead of 2. So that's like the math that they talk about when you do clean comedy. But it's pushed, like Augie does clean, Andy always push clean. So now Tumor does clean, Frank does clean. And then it's weird because the locals always swear. I've had people call me, oh, I saw you guys show, you open for Tumor, and you're the best part. Oh, you fuckers was clean. And I was like, so you like a clean show? And they go, yeah, but bring the whole family, you can watch that. And every other word is fucker. And I'm like, but you swear all the time. I was like, yeah, but you know, and they swear in front of their kids. And I'm like, it's weird to me that they would say, oh, good job for the clean show. But because I would, if, so like last night I performed.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, so at the Blue Note I did clean, and I marketed clean show. I go to Stand Up Honolulu and I'm filthy. I mean, I'm not like disgusting.
Yeah.
But I don't.
But you throw in.
Yeah, because I naturally will talk with, maybe some curse words here and there, but like I've been around grown ups where I don't swear, so I know how to like work
Turn
voice.
it on and off.
Yeah, you don't go to work and be like, "What's up, you motherfuckers? Who's printing
some bitches?
Who's printing my shit? HR, you funny with that, you motherfuckers." It's like, you don't.
Actually, that's the same thing for this podcast too. Like, there's some guests that I know like who they're representing, or like if they have a manager and stuff like that. So I just know like when to turn it on and off. Like, oh yeah, like I'm comfortable. Like, okay, this person's okay with swearing, right? And some people they'll always ask like, oh, can I swear? And I'm like, yeah, fuck it, if you're okay with that. But then if there's like maybe like the Win of the Reckoning, for instance, right? Jason Scott Lee and I'm like, okay, I won't turn that on, or I won't turn that part on because that's not, I don't think they want that being represented in the films and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, also you as a host, you wait for the guest to kind of, if the guest opens up and starts swearing, they be like, okay, we're swearing.
Yeah. But I also do that in real life too, because there's like some people like I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
You don't know if they like that, but then like once they do one swear word, I'm like, oh, yeah, fuck it, let's go.
Yeah. Oh, let me take off my clothes now because it's on.
Oh, you're one of those guys.
Yeah. I'm comfortable now. Yeah. So that's the same thing with hosting stand-up comedy as the host or opener. I always ask the headliner, are you doing clean or are you doing? And they go, oh, you can say whatever you want. So you don't have to ask. But I do that out of courtesy.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to.
You never know. You want to assume things. Yeah.
Yeah, because like opening for Tumor, I'm not gonna go up and be like, oh, this MF and whatever, and then he goes up and he has to follow and he does clean where the crowd is, into. I just did a whole Def Comedy Jam thing, and then he has to come up and which he probably will be able to turn it because it's his crowd. But for some comics, I did a show in Maui with Todd Barry. And then he was saying, don't do crowd work. So I said, oh, why? I'm not questioning you, but I'm just curious to learn. Why would you not want the opener to do crowd work? And he said, oh, because then it opens up the floor to them. That when I come up, they're going to talk to me. But I have an act. I don't want them talking to me. I perform the act and they laugh or they don't laugh. They're like, oh, okay, I see. Because even when I opened for Dave Chappelle, he didn't say not to do crowd work, but he doesn't like people talking. So like I think in Maui, he had like a couple hundred people kicked out. Whether you bring out your phone or you start talking, then the security walks them out.
Really? Wow.
He says that it's like a play on Broadway or something. You don't talk in Hamilton. You enjoy the show, whether you laugh or you don't laugh, but you're entertained. So there's a lot of comics that are like that, and to me, it's like, as
a perspective thing.
Yeah, as a small venue comic, we're used to getting
that feedback,
that talk, or the people saying something, and then we address it. But I think that's part of like paying your dues. They've been in the small clubs and had to do that with the heckler or whatever, which I've had my experience with. And I think when you do the large rooms, you get one, and there's so many people,
Mm-hmm.
and then you get another, and then another, and next thing you know, your whole show is just dealing with people talking.
Mm-hmm.
So I think maybe for them it's that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's a very interesting perspective because it's like, yeah, they just want to present the material that they have they've set up. They don't want to try to navigate themselves in whatever jokes
Mm-hmm.
they.
Yeah, because I don't do much crowd work.
Uh-huh.
If I'm hosting, I'll do something.
Mm-hmm.
But when I'm doing a headlining set, I don't like to do it because I put together material that I wrote
Mm-hmm.
and then I've worked on at smaller venues,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to present this to you and hope that you think this funny,
Mhm.
and that's how I work, and I think that's how they work too.
Mm-hmm.
But when I host like showcases, it depends on where you're at. If it's like an open mic or showcase, and I'm one of the openers, or the people in the show don't mind,
Mm-hmm.
then I'll open up and talk to people.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes that's how you get their attention. Like for some reason, like people like they would come to comedy shows to try to see if they can out challenge or outdo the comic
Right.
by being funnier and heckle or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas you don't see anybody doing that at a concert. Nobody comes
Yeah.
up and brings their guitar and be like, "Oh yeah, look at me, look at me! I'm in this. Look at my guitar. I'm playing. I'm so good." But they do that at comedy shows. It's like a little. Like,
Interesting.
they come out and they go, "Oh really?" Or they start,
Am I right? You
yeah,
know?
right. Am I right? You have no K on your social media. So it's like, why do they do that? And then, so sometimes addressing that to shut it down,
Mm-hmm.
or doing the Seinfeld, which is you just ignore it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have the microphone, my voice amplified.
Mm-hmm.
Just never mind this clown.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I've had my share. I've had some really bad hecklers and had to like cuss out people and
Wow, interesting. Huh.
yeah. It was actually I was a host for Female Comics of Hawaii, which is
Okay.
run by
But you're the male.
yeah,
the one male.
the host. They always had like a male host.
Oh, okay.
So Erica Schwarzkopf does a show. She does a group called the Female Comics of Hawaii,
Mm-hmm.
and their very first show they did at the Dragon upstairs. And I don't know if you've been in there, but the stage is like really high.
Yep.
Like there's a couple sitting right here. Now the problem is the way she set up her show. She had, let's say, 8 comics. So there's a showcase of 8 people. Everybody does equal amount of time, and I host. I bring up the first 4, and then they take a break. And when they take the break, they have a band come up and perform. So with stand-up comedy, you want an intimate
interesting.
room
Huh.
where everybody's sitting down, facing, almost uncomfortable, but they're paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have a band go, it gets the blood flowing, the people, and they're energized. They get up, they walk around, they're talking.
Mm-hmm.
Try to get them to settle down again to do some more of this stand-up. So I was second half. I'm talking, I'm doing some materials, and then this couple right in front, and it's like right at my feet because the stage is so high.
Yeah.
So I'm looking down. I was like, I'll just keep going, and maybe they'll stop, and they keep going, and I reached my limit. So I was like, excuse me, everybody's here for a comedy show. I don't know what you guys paid for. You guys paid for a show to come in here and talk and be rude, and then they laughed. I was like, no, it's not a joke. You guys are being rude. Because some of these women that coming up spent months to work on this material that they're going to present, and you guys are, and I just started cussing him out. It was an older couple too.
Oh.
I was like, and I was going at him like real aggressive.
It was the Chinese guy and the Chinese lady with the.
No, it was
the
actually
luggage.
a European. I want to say German, could be
interesting.
Austrian or something like that because their accent. And I was like, and I started cussing, and then they left. And they're all right, folks, you guys ready to continue with the show? And everybody's like, yeah, because I see the way to do it is you get the audience on your side against the heckler. So when I was saying that, talking about the women who in the show worked hard on the material, and you guys just want to shit on them and not pay attention and interrupt, and everybody started, yeah. It's like, oh, yeah. It's like they started booing them, and I was like, get out, and they left. And then when the next comic came up, the crowd was receptive and ready for it. Yeah,
good.
Yeah. So. I mean, I like to think I'm a cool host. I actually got called out by Doug Stanhope, who's a famous comic, where I went up and I was like introducing some of the openers, and they weren't doing that well.
Oh.
And I'm getting ready to bring out the headliner. And what happened was, and it was my mistake, my bad. I was still new to the game, and I said, "All right, folks, just relax, folks. The show will get better."
Oh.
So Doug Stanhope, he comes running up on the stage, and he was like, "Fuck you, James Money. Give me that mic." And he was like, "Folks, and this I learned a lot from.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, every experience is a learning experience."
Mm-hmm.
So I'm standing there, no, don't you get off the stage, James. You stay right here with me. Like, fuck you, It's not the comics that came up. The audience, you guys have a job to do as well. And you guys are a shitty audience. The comics that come up and you do the material, and your job is to listen and laugh. So if you guys can't even do that, I don't know why the fuck you guys can't. He's just cussing them out. And I was watching, and they started laughing at him cussing them out. And then he brought in the next comic, and the show was so good after that.
So good.
That when I went to LA and performed, I was in a sports bar that turned into a comedy show after, and the crowd was talking, and I did, exactly what Doug Stanhope did. And I was like, they warned me about you shitty LA crowds, and everyone was like, "Who is this talking to us like this?" Like I was like, "You guys are pieces of shit." All of you. You guys would rather watch the Lakers. I hope the Lakers lose this game. There's a comedy show happening right. You guys are watching. I don't know why this bar has a fucking game on when the show is starting. And all you fake plastic Hollywood people think you're going to be celebrities. Fuck all of you guys. And they was looking at me like, what? Like, who the hell is this? Yeah. But then I realized I got their attention. And then I started to be funny. And then they started laughing. And then Theo Vaughn was there.
Shout out to Theo Vaughn.
Yeah, gang. And then Shang X was there. And after the show, when they performed, they came on. It was like, dude, thank you so much, because the first 3 people bombed. And we were worried the crowd wasn't going to pay attention. But when you got after them, you turned the crowd. And it's like all these experiences. That's why, like, when you talk about Reese Paul, that thing he was talking about where he bombed the night before, that's an experience that he is in his head, and he's trying to figure out how not to have that happen again. So the experience with me, with Doug Stanhope, the headliner at that night was Eddie If. It taught me that, the crowd has a responsibility, and it's okay to go after them. Like last night, the crowd was a little, because Joe Coy's in town.
Right.
So a lot of people were there. When the crowd, we had maybe like 12 to 15 people. Oh, no, I think almost 20. So it's not a really big crowd, but you got to go after them, like shake them. Hey, this is a live show. You're not watching TV. You're not looking at your phone.
Yeah.
I see you guys. So I started to go after them, but not the aggressive way, but just my energy. And I do my jokes. I'm coming at you, and then it turned them. And they said they're all laughing. And so, like you said, with the art of doing stand-up comedy, with not just the hypnosis, but
the psychology.
Yeah, it's a lot of psychology. So that's why a lot of people who do it, and I tell them when they start, I was like, "Oh, comedians are smart people," and I always try to be welcoming. Like I was at Reese when he was out of high school. It's like, no, keep, I encourage you, keep trying, keep doing it. Because a lot of the famous comics that I've worked with were the same way. Like everybody is really nice. Hey, come on out, just keep working. And if they have some suggestions or advice, like one of the guys that help, really cool with me is Ronnie Chang. He starts, he seems like he's a grump, but he's super sweet. He's like one of the nicest dudes. And I'm like, I said, hey, I'm going to tell everybody you're my friend. Is that all right? He's like, oh, of course, dude. Go for it. Like, cool. I'm Ronnie Chang's friend. I keep telling everybody. So I've been lucky to have all this experience, and it helped mold me into.
Yeah, and to help others that are trying to get into that.
Yeah, I think when
industry too.
That's where you get the payoff. I mean, the pay. There is nothing in the beginning. I've had my former coach at Aya High School asked me to come and do career day. I was like, career day for what? As a bus driver? And he was like, no, as a comedian. I was like, you wouldn't want that. He's like, why not? The first thing I would tell them is don't do it. I said, why would you do that? I said, because there's no money. These kids are coming out of school. They want to go earn money or something. There's no money in stand-up comedy unless you're, big time. Like the difference between how much, and I won't get into too much. The difference between how much Tumoa make and how much I make, or Reese, and is huge. The dude's selling out. Tumoa's selling out the Blaisdell Arena.
Yeah.
Blue Note is much smaller than the arena or even the concert hall. So, and Tumoa sells out a lot of places. I'm gonna perform May. Oh, this is where I plugged it. My manager might get mad if I don't push this. May 6th, I'll be at Kona Elks Lodge, and May 7th, I'll be at the Playground in Maui. So these are like 200 something seat venues, where Tumoa's selling out. I think Hilo Palace, which is I think 500.
Yeah.
But he does like 5, maybe he might add a 6th show. So, and he sells it right away. I put out that I'm performing at the Playground and Elks Lodge on Kona, and then my manager, did you check Eventbrite how many tickets you sold? Like, still zero. It's like, we're still zero. But it's the same way with Blue Note. It's a slow sell. It eventually will pick up, but for like Tumoa, it's boom, right away.
Yeah, instantaneous. Yeah.
And I think because he has the fans he has 100 Ks. I have 0 Ks. Oh, actually, I have 8 Ks.
Yeah, 8 Ks.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have 8
Okay.
Ks.
But not the special K.
Yeah, not the special K. Yeah.
One day. One day.
Real quick, I want to talk about the Daily Pigeon podcast because you're doing that with Andy Bumatai right now.
Yeah.
So that's your new gig. You guys are doing it daily.
Yeah,
literally.
that's the tough part.
Because
when I was podcasting, it was whenever a guest was available, and a lot of times could be Tuesday, could be a Thursday, and so I tried to do as many as I could right off the bat, so you can get to that number, because I was using Anchor.fm.
Yeah.
So you reach a certain number, and then you can get you can put ads in, and then you get paid. So like a penny, somebody listens, you get a penny or something like that. So I was like, I knew I need to get in there right away and do as many episodes within a month. I used to podcast before that called The Guys with Issues, and we've been doing it for like 7 years, and I knew that consistency matters. So if you continue doing it, people will find you at episode 90 and then go back and listen to all your older episodes, your catalog. So no matter where they find you, they will go back and listen to the other episodes. So that's what I learned from my experience of doing podcasts with Andy. He does live. He doesn't even do audio podcasts.
Interesting.
Yeah, so his is live on YouTube, Twitch, and surprisingly, as old as he is, the dude knows more about Twitch than I do, and I have an IT associate's degree. And he was like, "Oh, that's biddies. Well, biddies." I was like, "No, I don't know what biddies are." And he was like, "Oh, that's the money that they give you in Twitch." I was like, "Wow, you're on Twitch?" And he was like, "Yeah." So he does live on Facebook and even LinkedIn. I didn't even know you could do live on LinkedIn.
Wow, interesting. Yeah, I didn't know that either.
So he broadcasts live, and from that live, he's taking segments to make a TV show. So that's what we're doing now, and
okay.
so that it has to be daily because he includes his live chat, into the TV show. So it's 3 p.m.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
so 3 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time every weekday, Monday through Friday. It doesn't start on TV till March 6th. So we have, as of yesterday, we have 10 episodes in the can.
Wow, interesting. That's a lot of material.
So that's the good thing too, is like, let's say when we start doing the TV, he can go from the episode 1, 2, and then next week we'll do, by the time it starts, we'll have 15 episodes in the can. If we get into, let's say, April, and then, I'm gonna travel, so I can't be here. Oh, that's okay. We'll just pop in the episode we have in the bank.
Yeah.
So and that's when I got into live was from him, and I was watching his podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So when I did my podcast by myself without my guys with issues brothers,
Yeah.
I was doing live. And the
Mm.
cool thing with that is that the chat comes up, so people would ask questions, and I would ask the guest, and then it
Mhm.
was interesting. But one of the downfalls is it just you can't keep up with the chat sometimes, and it just keeps going, and then people complain, and it's like, oh, you don't see me? I'm like, I'm talking to my guest. Like this episode is about this guest,
Yeah.
not about this chat.
Mhm.
You know, Andy's different on his podcast. He acknowledges the guest. I mean the chat,
The chat.
and
Mhm.
that's why he has a cult following. There's people on there almost every episode
Mm.
and loyal, and they have their own language too. They're like, oh yeah, we're gonna do the diss, and I'm like, what is that? And he's, oh, and Habut baby. I'm like, Habut baby, what's happening here? So we've been doing it
What
for 2
Spanglish are you saying here?
yeah, but we're doing it for 2 weeks, and I'm like, this is a different place that I'm in, and then also my pigeons start to come up because the daily pigeon,
Mm.
and so Andy wants to really focus on doing this full time,
Mm.
which is like I think in the 90s, 80s and 90s, that was the stand-up comedian's goal
Mm.
was to do stand-up comedy. I gotta go and travel,
Mm-hmm.
which is I don't mind doing at my age, and I'll go to cities, perform, and do my best, and yada yada. But after a while, and Andy's I think 70 or 71,
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't want to do all that traveling. So for him, and this is the comics in the 80s, just to get a sitcom, that's why he gets like Seinfeld, Everybody Loves Raymond. The goal was to get a sitcom so that you stay home.
Mm-hmm.
No more traveling. If you do, you go and then you do a big theater and sell out
Mm-hmm.
instead of doing clubs, one-offs here and
Yeah,
there, and all
yeah.
that traveling. Yeah, so it's something I picked up with podcasters, like what is his name? The guy that did Super Jaime.
Oh.
It's always Doug Benson.
Mm-hmm.
Doug Benson, even like Bert Kreischer, and so although their stand-up is strong,
Mm-hmm.
their podcast took them to another level.
Yeah, Bobby Lee's another one too.
Yeah, so it's to the point where, like, some podcasters are going on doing stand-up, although they weren't stand-ups before,
Mm-hmm.
and they're finding out, oh, this is not as easy as we thought. Or even like content creators or influencers
Mm-hmm.
going and doing stand-up, and they're like, oh, this is different.
It's a different field.
Stand-up's different. Like,
Yeah.
you have to have been in the small rooms and struggled.
Mm-hmm.
That way you know how to handle when you get in the big room and struggle.
Mm.
It's like T.I. when he did that one arena and bombed,
Mm-hmm.
and people were heckling him
Mm-hmm.
because he's never done stand-up before.
Mm.
Even if he did, he's famous already.
Yeah.
So now he's actually coming to Hawaii to the Blue Note. I'm kind of curious.
Oh,
I'm sure by now he's gotten better,
Uh-huh.
but that's what it is. If you're too famous too fast, you don't know how to handle the struggle.
The struggle.
That's why Reese, I think that night, Thursday, I scolded him.
Mm-hmm.
But he needed, that's the learning experience he gets. When he starts to take off, because he has different thoughts and point of view, he's very unique.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him, yeah, you're like nobody else. Once you figure out the stand-up craft
Mm-hmm.
and the art,
Mm-hmm.
there's no stopping you.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to get to that point.
Yeah.
So, yeah, scolded him for throwing the show under the bus that night.
For attacking the crowd.
Yeah.
So like for comedians, I guess that want to get into the industry, what do you think is like maybe like 3 important tips you would want to
Ooh,
You tell them.
3. There's so many, but so like a lot of people don't realize writing is involved.
Mm-hmm.
So you can get away with not writing, but then a lot of times you end up doing new material every time.
Mm.
So nothing's wrong with doing new material. It's just it's not polished.
Mm.
So when you do this material, you talk about something that happened in the news yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
The boulders, they're Boulder in Palolo, a Boulder in Aiel, and the Waimea. It's like the island is attacking us back. It's like so it's like it's just a chuckle,
Yeah.
which is like what Jimmy Kimmel and Jimmy Fallon get. It's jokes that are written but not polished. Where like say like Kevin Hart, Kevin Hart's dad. Oh, they're gonna learn today, all right. So that joke is polished. That joke is at its funniest point. A lot of writing is involved, and working on that material over and over. Like Joe Coy didn't get famous till after his 30th year. A lot of people think he's like, he's new. It's like, no, he's been doing it for a long time.
Long time.
Yeah, and then so understanding that. The writing process and working that material to its funniest point, like the one I do about the whitewater rafting, that happened 7-8 years ago, but it's at its funniest point now. So understand that new material is good, but polished material is better. So keep working the craft. Bombing is part of doing stand-up. That's where they say you either going to quit or you're going to continue, and just understand that it's a learning experience. I still go. Dave Chappelle went up and bombed. I think up in Massachusetts or something a couple of years ago.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
And there's other places where he struggles, and he knows that. But it's about getting up and working. You're like a workout. The open mics that's what it's there for. You go there, work out. I did something foolish, but it helped my confidence in other ways. So you can always learn you actually learn more from bombing than you do doing well. Because if you do well, you're like, oh, this is it. If you don't do well, it's like, well, what went wrong? Let me change this up. So that's why I like crossword puzzles too, because I think outside the box. Like, how can I solve this?
Right.
It's got to be a different word. It's the same. How can I solve this crowd? This like local comics that go in front of a mainland crowd, they struggle because they don't know how to do their joke a different way. Like when you see my jokes, I'm a local telling jokes about things. I'm not doing local jokes. If I'm doing a local crowd, I add my pigeon. So I guess that's two. Even though it sounds like a lot. The third, consistency. Just like with content creation or social media, consistency. Just keep going. Don't worry about making mistakes. Just go and try and then see what happens. And then, okay, I'll try a different way. I'll try, I guess those three things, right? Actually, I'd probably do like 5-6 things. But,
writing, and then there's the consistency part. Like if you bomb, don't just think that it's game over. Work through that process. Yeah. And then also, polishing jokes. Yeah.
There's a lot, I think. But because there's a lot. Cause, I mean, even like when I told you about the is it neurolinguistics?
Yes.
I mean, a lot of people don't know that happens. So now when you watch stand up, you're gonna be like, oh wow, why do they keep doing that? And then, why do these catchphrases keep? Chris Rock is one of my favorite. He says the punchline 5 times sometimes. He'll say it.
I've noticed that.
And he'll drive it. And he'll drive it. So if you watch like the older Chris Rock, who had more energy, he'll say it over. Like Bigger, Blacker, Better is one of my favorite stand-up shows. And he does that. He walks back and forth, and it's so confident. And then so that's what I picture when I perform. Like, I want to be like that. The confidence he had and the way he's driving. So like one of the jokes I have about my doctor, who I hate.
Yeah.
And I keep spelling his name out. So to people, go on Yelp and give him a terrible review. And I spell it. So like anywhere in my set, when I pause, I go, WATANAB. And people remember it's a callback and they laugh. It's like, wow, this guy really hates his doctor. The worst part is I accidentally did my real doctor's name. And then
you left them a bad review.
No, a woman came up to me and she goes, "Oh, you go to Dr. Kobayashi too?" And I was like, you know Dr. Kobayashi? Oh yeah, we see him too. And I was like, oh, don't tell him that. He's not my doctor anymore. So
Well, would have been worse if he came to the show
yeah.
and he heard that.
I know over there just cussing him out and not knowing he's in the room.
Yeah.
But he's a cool guy. He's a nice doctor, and he doesn't deserve any bad reviews. But it just came out because that's my real doctor. So the name just came out, and I was like, I should stop using his real name. That's what I was thinking. I was like, okay, Watanabe is a common name, but I don't see any. I had the first name. I was like, there's no Jeff Watanabe. no Jeff. No, I don't know too many Japanese named Jeff. And then I spelled it Geof. So it's guaranteed that there is no way there's a Jeff Watanabe out there.
So funny story on that one. My parents almost named me Jeff.
Oh, really?
Geoff.
No.
And I would have been so pissed off.
I would have been talking about you.
Yeah, because when I heard that joke the first time, I was like, frick, he's talking about me. But my mom was almost going to name me Jeff, and I told her, thank God you didn't, because I take Gavin over Jeff 10 times out of 10.
Yeah. It's funny because when I saw your name, I was like, because it's with an E. Yeah. I know Gavin's with an I.
Well, so my mom liked Gavin like with an I, but she wanted to be unique. That's what Filipinos mom. You know, like Filipino moms, they always want to try to like change the name somehow, and then she put an E for me. So
that's the ghetto in her, where they change spelling and they make it look unique.
Well, another thing is, so like my middle name is Alika.
Oh,
right?
really?
And my sister's name is Casey, but she named us after her dog's dad. Her dad's dogs.
No way.
Because they were Alex and Casey. And I was like, I got the better end of the stick because it's a middle name. So,
yeah. Well, also, your sister's first name.
Yeah, my sister's first name is Casey. So she's like, oh, you're named after your grandpa's dogs.
So funny. Yeah, my middle name is my grandfather, my mom's dad's name. My dad didn't know that was added until I got my birth certificate.
Oh.
Because when they do the name, it was just James Mane. When he got the birth certificate, he saw his father-in-law's name. He's like, what the hell is this? My mom snuck it in on there. So, surprise.
Sneaky moms, man.
Trying to get that name in there. It's always a thing with name. I should make that a bit. Because I do a bit about babies. I should do that where, like, the pressure. Because same thing with me. When my daughter was born. Me being the sarcastic person I am, my ex or my daughter's mom was trying to come up with names. She had a list of all these names that she liked. And I was like, I know a stripper by this name. This person was a bully in school. This girl was a hoe. So I was like, I'm just going down the list, just killing all the names in the list. And she's like, stop. I was like, yeah, but I can't.
I like the stripper name. I like the stripper name.
Well, you don't name a kid Manhattan or Savannah or Roxy. But then it was like, I just trashed all the names. So we got to
Manhattan was really that's interesting.
One of my favorite ones too. But it was so my daughter's Tyla, and then I was like, oh, well, that's kind of unique, but it's so short. So she has two names. It goes Tyla and a space Reese.
Oh.
So she gets a lot of people go, oh, your middle name's Reese? No, my first name's Tyler Reese. Yeah, but there's a space. I go, yeah, I know, but that's mine. So I go, cool. I'm glad you had that argument because I was hoping you would when you got older. You know, everybody.
Some Filipinos do that.
Oh, yeah?
They have two first names as well.
Oh, that's right. My daughter's best friend in elementary, her was Alyssa Reese, but with a C, Reece.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so Alyssa Reese and Tyler Reese.
Oh.
Maybe I have some Filipino in me.
Yeah.
My dad didn't really have wrinkles. He passed when he was 84.
Oh.
Didn't really have wrinkles. Hair was almost still black.
Really?
So that's why he was like,
maybe he was Filipino.
And he was dark too.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, maybe that's Filipino.
Yeah.
Like, you look pretty good.
He never got to do the 23andMe. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. We should. Well, I guess if we did, and we would find it.
Yeah. Well, I found out I was part black too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, interesting. 1%.
Wow, 1%.
Yeah, 1%.
How do they just that? Like 1%.
Someone got raped. I don't know, but that's sorry.
It's also gotta be way. Well, that's a comedian coming out. It's gotta be like way down the line to be 1%.
Yeah.
Like
I don't know where, but
maybe like Genghis Khan days or something, and then
yeah,
it just
could have been.
Man.
Maybe it was Genghis Khan. You know. Maybe,
Well, we all have, right?
yeah,
We all have a part of him.
30% black, maybe. You know, I don't know.
Man, maybe. Yeah, and you can do black jokes now,
Yeah, I could,
but you won't.
but I'm not. But I'm not going to.
You have a card, and then just your 23andMe results, and you start dropping the N word, and be like, wait, look, 1%, 1%.
Oh, funny story of that. Oh gosh, I don't know if I should. I'll tell that anyway, right? So one of my best friends is black, right? We black Filipino, great mix, honestly, and we've been friends since I think second grade. You know, I remember he came over to my house one time. I think it was like New Year's, and my cousin, I don't know what he was thinking, but he came in the room. And he was talking about black people. And he's dropping the N word, and my friend is sitting right next to me, and my sister and I are in the room. We're just shocked, like, what are you doing? You know, you can't believe you're saying this. Like, well, I just saw this N guy down the road, but he was like throwing fireworks and everything. And I looked at my friend, and I'm like, you realize what's going on here, right?
Did he apologize?
No.
He left.
He just left. He came in. He said his piece. He just left.
Wow.
Did you say it?
I've been in a situation like that when I was at the city bus. There's like this white guy. They call him Professor Nerdy. He looks like a principal from like the 1950s or something, bald on top and has glasses. And we're all in the shuttle car going to where we meet our buses on Dillingham. And it's like 4 of us. And then me, the professor in the back of the van, and then 2 local guys in the front. And they start going, oh, you know, Popolo, and then they're just like watching. I was like, I know, they don't know. And they're just going, but me and professor sitting there, and I was like, oh my God. I just listened to it, and I was like, it's none of my business. They're not even talking to me, so I'll just look out the window. And we get to the last, we get to where we meet our buses, and then they're not talking about it anymore. But then as soon as the professor gets up to go out to his bus, he goes, oh, by the way, that was very offensive. My wife is black. And then walks out, and it was like, oh, snap. And I was like, I didn't know how to tell you guys without telling you guys when he's sitting here, but you shouldn't talk about anybody's race anyways.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
It's like, shame on you guys. Just be looking around like, oh, none of them are here. Let's talk about it. That's messed up too. And
yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
Especially here in Hawaii. You never know, man.
Yeah. And that's what it is when people say I was a nice bus driver. And it's because I have friends. This person coming on the bus could be my friend's mom, auntie, or dad or uncle. And
Neighbor,
you never
they
know.
could be your neighbor.
Yeah, you never know.
You never know.
Yeah. The downfall to that is because I've driven for 17 years. I see people at the mall. I'm like, oh, I know that guy. It's like, I think we went to school together. And I keep looking. I was like, oh, what is his name? What is his name? I was like, oh, no, that's the guy who used to catch bus. I don't know that guy. I was like, oh, too long in that business.
Well, see, my problem is, my glasses, I don't know if they're updated to where I can see people. So, like, a little far and it's a little blurry, right? So sometimes I don't. Like, if people approach me and they're from afar, like, hey, Gavin, I don't know if I know that person.
That's fine. You gotta get close, like.
But I gotta get a little closer. I'll go like this, and this is a little inside, but like I'll go like this. Hey, what's up? I don't even know. I'm not really sure who it is. But if I get close enough, I'm like, oh, okay, that's so and so. But I'll do it anyway.
Oh yeah, always.
Yeah.
Same thing like me.
Yeah, you never know.
When we had mask mandate.
Uh-huh.
So I, wearing a mask, look like me still yet. Because I'm huge.
Yeah.
So I always get, hey, Mane. Hey, that's my name from high school. I know who's calling me. Mane is probably somebody from high school. I was like, hey, Mane. Hey, James. I'm like, hey. Them wearing a mask, being average size. I don't know who that is. I was like, hey, how's it? Hey, all right. And then my daughter's like, who's that? I have no idea. They're wearing a mask. I can't see their face. But me is like, oh, yeah, 6'7", 400 pounds. Like, oh, yeah, that's James. That's why I can't do crime. Everybody like, oh yeah, I seen him. They go, what do he look like? Oh no, it's James Money. I seen him. The main man Money.
Main man Mon.
He was stealing.
He was at the Blue Note the
yeah,
other day.
he was stealing a case of Special K. Something
God.
crying about not having 10K. Something. I don't know.
He's right next to the boulders. You know what I mean? You know?
You gotta pick him up and carry out of that lady's house.
Yeah. Right by Chaminade. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they say building a rock wall with all his cousins.
That's the funny thing with my wife and I. Like, we'll go to like a certain place, and then she always goes, "Oh, you always know certain people. Like, you always know someone there." And I tell her, I don't know if I know them. I don't even know if I don't know their name. I don't even know if I've ever met them before, but they know me somehow.
Well, I mean, you put yourself out there. That's why.
I guess so.
It's the same thing with me. Somebody come up to me, hey, hi, and then, oh yeah, and I'm like, oh, thank you. I don't know where you know me from. It's like, you know where you know me from. I don't know where you know me from. But then sometimes if they say, oh, I seen your show, or someone say your videos.
See, that makes sense, because then it's like, okay, yeah, you know me from there.
Yeah.
This happens in other states though,
Oh,
like Florida, maybe like Seattle and stuff like that. And I'm like, I have no idea where you know me from. They'll say, hey, Gavin. And I'm like, what's up? But where do you know me from?
see, that's why you got to
School?
put a local, like, hey, brother.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well-
how's it, sis?
Well, sometimes, I mean, they don't look local.
What, you just got, hi, big guy.
Yeah. but
Hey, man. It's like, hey, buckaroo.
my main man over there. What's up?
Everybody's, hey, my main man. It's woman. It's like, oh, sorry. Main lady. But yeah, it's
Main man. You know what I mean?
I'm bad with faces. I kind of I know that I know this person, but I don't know. And then sometimes I don't know the person. It's so weird.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was one of the weirdest one was when I was new to social media. This was maybe like, I don't know, 8 years ago or something. No, maybe not even that. But it's new. It was Instagram and Foursquare, I think was it. And I remember seeing somebody at Zippy's, and I kept looking at her. I was like, oh, I think I know her. I think I know her from someplace. I don't know. And then it turned out, I was like, you know, when you, sorry, you say it's in front of your wife, but sometimes you look on Instagram and you're like, oh, who's this chick? You know, and then I didn't know her. I was just, was it lurking? What is it? Stalking? You know, I was like, I'm just looking at her, you know, from her profile. Like, whoa, this chick is hot. And then I see her at Zippers, and I'm like, I know her from somewhere. But
I lurked you at some point.
it was when I was being a pervert. I apologize. So she doesn't know me. She doesn't know I see her post. But then I'm like, I'm looking at her like, I think. And the worst part is I messaged her. I like, oh, I apologize. I think I recognize you as Zippies. And I thought I knew you, but I don't know you. She never replied. She probably just like, no, I don't know this creep. So if I make it big and famous, there's gonna be a woman out there like, remember when you used to troll or lurk or whatever?
You remember you when you lurked me?
Is that the right term? Lurk?
You had a shark's fin, you know what I mean?
You creep.
You just came right up to me. And you said, I know you from somewhere.
Yeah. And I called the fish and grills guy on you to go get you. You was the mahu fish.
He was the
Or is it Okole? What was
the
it?
Okole fish.
Okole fish. Yeah. Yikes.
Shout out to Caleb for slipping the tongue there.
It
All
works
right.
out.
Anyways, James, thank you for coming on the show. I really appreciate it, man.
Thank you for having me. Sorry I talk so much.
No, this was funny. I really enjoyed it. I love funny episodes, man. I try to do it funny every single time. So
Oh, it's good.
we'll
It's
see.
good.
But yeah, do you want to like shout out any shows? I know you did earlier with the ones on the Big Island, but any
Something
anything
I
else?
learned from, of all people, Tara Patrick.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was doing Guys with Issues podcast, she's so good. She always like during every question, she promoted something.
Oh, okay.
So she was like, if you asked, we did a game with, there was three of us, me, Russell Kealoha, and Chad Wago, and one of the game was it Marry, Kill, Fuck? And then so we did that with her, and she goes, oh, okay, yeah, I know this game. You know, my website is da 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 da. And I was like, wow, shit. And then she played the game. So I was like, wow, that's cool. So to promote my shows, I'll be doing April 6th show at Stand Up Honolulu. It's my birthday, April 6th, which is Thursday. So we're trying to sell out the place so I
Happy
can.
early birthday.
Thank you.
Much early.
Yeah, much early. So I can put on my website, comedian James Mane, that I sold out all these shows. And that's why I'm doing the neighbor islands too. So kind of build the momentum when I take it to the mainland. So I can say I've sold out all these spots. So you should let me come to your spot and perform. That sounds like I'm perverted again. Maybe that's where my mind's at. Let me come to your spot and perform at your spots. So, yeah.
Okay, well, when you say it like that, but when you didn't say it like that, I thought, oh no, this sounds fine. But when you say it like that,
I picked my shoulders up. It made it more evil.
yeah, the lurking shoulders. You know what I mean?
So yeah, comedian James Mane. You can find me on social media at comedian James Mane. Follow me on Instagram. Yes, TikTok. I do some of the dances. And Facebook. So which is weird because I'm verified on Facebook. My fan page was verified maybe like 8 years ago, but I still can't get the verification on Instagram.
That doesn't make sense because they're
same
they're
business.
in cahoots,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Meta.
They're meta, yeah.
Meta business. But yeah, I still can't get. I still try. You can try until it happens.
Huh? Do you put the Facebook link too? Like, hey, I'm verified on here. You guys can verify me.
I did it once and it didn't work.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So I tried all these different, variations of posts and. So, thank you. You guys follow me on Instagram. That would help out a lot. Let me get that special K.
Yeah.
And then I'll do a challenge for that. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll join you.
All right. Special K Kampai. Yeah.
Which I'll put some alcohol in the cereal. Well, for myself.
That would be a crazy challenge to eat cereal with. Wow, that's going to puke so bad.
Yep. I know. That's why I'm still young. I can still do it.
Well, it's funny I was going to say because Kampai is Japanese, right?
Well, okay. I was explaining this on the other episode, but it's usually spelled Kanpai. That's the correct spelling. But the thing with like Japanese words is, it sounds like an M sometimes. So it's Kanpai Sugai. So, but I put the M just because. Actually, I did this with Chef Kale. Actually, we did a little bit of an insight. We did a commercial the other day, but I was explaining this to him that it's. I put the M just because, like, for like American audiences, maybe they identify that with more instead of like if they put the N, it might confuse them a little bit. So
for me, it's a Samoan word.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Hey, you guys like come by?
Okay.
Yeah, come by my house. You guys like visit? Yeah, you guys don't go. You guys come by.
You guys like lurk. You guys like lurk at my house.
I gotta find out how you say in Samoan. I think moi kokolo, which is actually a thing where when people are because we're sorry to drag on your podcast, but it's our fales, which is there's no walls. So if people are sleeping, moi kokolo is almost like rape, but they sneak into your.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, and then they hook up with you.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, so maybe I shouldn't have said it. But.
Damn.
The ultimate lurk.
Well, thank you, James Main Man Mane, for coming on the podcast.
That's how you close a podcast.
What's your social medias too? If you want to shout like on IG, what's your?
Oh yeah, at comedian James Mane. So even if you Google it, you'll find all of it. Go to my website, you can find all of it. To buy tickets to my shows, you can go to the website also. Trying to get more clicks on the website. And follows on Instagram. I do post sketch comedy, and I'm going to do an experiment where I do local kind, not just Samoan kind, but local kind.
Local kind.
And then maybe if I get that 10K, I'll do that challenge with
Special K.
Special K, and I guess we have to find out what kind of alcohol to.
Well, I got some that we can figure.
But it can't be like expensive. It gotta be some cheap stuff. You're not gonna put cereal.
I get people sending me stuff. I'm not really a big drinker. I'll be honest.
Oh yeah, same.
But that's why I have it all stockpiled for special. Well, here and in my fridge, so it's more for the guests. But a lot of them like drinking water, so it's like okay.
Okay, all right. So that's a challenge when we get Special K. With the Hawaii Content Creators Group. Don't forget to follow. And they help with 808 Viral. They'll help me get to Special K, and then we'll do that challenge.
Yeah.
We'll come back here and we'll record us eating that
Special K.
special. Do they even make it? I know Frosted Flakes is still out there, but I don't know about Special K.
We'll find it somewhere.
Yeah,
Maybe at
cool.
Kmart, but we'll find it somewhere.
Thanks for having me, bro.
Yeah, of course. And everybody knows at the end of every show, we always do a kampai. So, Mr. James Main Man Money, this is to you. This is to your success and to your shows in the future, that you can break that ceiling of that, that tier where you get to a point where you're like just headlining every single night. Well, hopefully you get some space in between. You
Yeah.
can, you can
Podcast maybe.
yeah, podcast too. But yeah, here's to your success. Thank you for coming on the show, man.
Thanks for having me.
Kampai.
Kampai.